Are you ready to uncover the hidden horrors of the American prison system? Imagine a place where the line between perpetrator and victim is blurred, where the fight for survival is a daily battle, and where the reality of life inside the walls is far more brutal than you could ever imagine. Join us as we take an in-depth look at the harsh reality of life inside the U.S.'s toughest prisons, where the cries of injustice and abuse echo through the halls, where the struggle to maintain humanity is a constant battle, and where the consequences of one's actions can be dire. This is the shocking reality of life inside America's toughest prisons. Number 5. Rikers Island. Rikers Island is a prison infamous for its notorious reputation and inhumane conditions. It's located on an island near the Bronx. It's been home to some of the most famous criminals in recent history, such as Sid Vicious, Tupac Shakur, DMX, Lil Wayne, the son of Sam, and even John Lennon's murderer. But despite housing some of the toughest inmates, the prison is widely criticized for the inhumane treatment meted out on the inmates by the guards. The New York Times and other reputable news outlets have reported numerous allegations of mistreatment, abuse, and neglect at the prison. The stories reported by the media are truly disturbing and highlight the poor conditions of the prison. Inmates have reported overcrowding, inadequate medical care, and excessive use of force by the guards. Inmates have also reported being subject to long-term solitary confinement, which has been deemed inhumane by human rights organizations. The prison has also been criticized for its lack of rehabilitation programs, which has led to a high recidivism rate among inmates. The city of New York has long been aware of the poor conditions at Rikers Island, and several efforts have been made to reform the prison. However, these reports have been met with limited success, and the prison remains one of the most notorious in the world. Imagine being locked up in a place where overcrowding, lack of medical care, and abuse by guards are commonplace. It's a nightmare. Rikers Island is not a place anyone would want to find themselves in, not even for a single moment. The poor conditions at the prison and the inhumane treatment meted out to the inmates are a stain on the justice system and a violation of human rights. Number 4. Louisiana State Penitentiary. The Louisiana State Penitentiary, also known as Angola, is famous for its inhumane conditions and brutal treatment of inmates. With nicknames like Alcatraz of the South and Farm, it's no surprise that violence and dangerous conditions run rampant at Angola. Riots and escape attempts are all too common and have even resulted in fatal injuries. But don't just take our word for it. Judges have declared a state of emergency at Angola due to its poor living conditions. Want to know more? The novel The Green Mile offers a glimpse into the harsh reality of Angola prison. Because of its negative reputation, Angola remains one of America's most notorious prisons, serving as a reminder of the need for reform in the prison system. Number 3. Folsom State Prison. In 1955, Johnny Cash sang about the problems at Folsom State Prison in his hit song Folsom Prison Blues. But despite his efforts to bring attention to the issues, they only seemed to worsen. The prison faced its most turbulent times in the 70s and 80s with rampant gang violence and overcrowding. The overcrowding made the problems worse as Folsom regularly had more prisoners than it was designed to hold, with one of its cell blocks holding the dubious distinction of being the most populous in the country. The overcrowding has led to a host of issues, including increased violence, poor sanitation, and inadequate medical care. The prison faced a major crisis as recently as 2010, when 7 inmates were admitted to the hospital after guards had to break up a 200-prisoner riot. Despite these problems, it seems that little has been done to address the underlying issues at Folsom State Prison. The overcrowding and violence continue to be major concerns, and it's clear that more needs to be done to improve the conditions at the facility. Number 2. Sing Sing Correctional Facility. Sing Sing Correctional Facility, located in Ossining, New York, is a prison that's become synonymous with death and despair. The prison, which was opened in 1825, has a dark history, marked by the use of the electric chair as a method of execution. The chair, affectionately nicknamed Old Sparky, has been used to execute over 600 people, including notorious figures like Julius and Ethel Rosenberg, the notorious serial killer and cannibal Albert Fish, and the son of Sam. But Sing Sing is not just a place of execution. It's also become a home to some of the most infamous criminals in American history. Notable inmates such as Ruth Brown Snyder, Gary Evans, and the bank robber Willie Sutton have all served time within its walls. The prison has also been known for its harsh conditions and brutal treatment of inmates, which has led to numerous protests and calls for reform. Despite its dark history, some have proposed turning the prison's original cell block, built in 1825, into a museum. But the question remains, what kind of spirits still linger within its walls, and is it appropriate to turn such a place of suffering into a tourist attraction? Sing Sing Correctional Facility stands as a grim reminder of the harsh realities of the American prison system and the dark side of American history. Its past and present still haunts the prison and its surrounding communities. It's a place where the echoes of Old Sparky's victims and the screams of the torture still linger, a place where the ghosts of the past and present still roam. Number 1. Attica Correction Facility. The Attica Correction Facility, tucked away in the quaint town of Attica, New York, holds a sinister reputation as a supermax prison, plagued by a history of deplorable living conditions and deadly riots. One of the most infamous moments in Attica's past was the 1971 prison riot, a bloodbath that claimed the lives of 43 individuals, including 10 brave officers. The prison's management was forced to take extreme measures, such as installing a tear gas system, to curb the relentless violence within its walls. Among the countless notorious criminals that have been housed in Attica, some notorious figures include El Sayed Nasser, a terrorist involved in the 1993 World Trade Center bombing, the infamous Mad Bomber Sam Melville, and the notorious mobster Eddie the Butcher. These infamous figures are just a small sample of the notorious individuals who have called Attica home. Today, we've witnessed the harsh reality of life inside America's toughest prisons. Our goal is to bring awareness to the brutal conditions and daily struggles faced by inmates. If this content was informative and thought-provoking, show your support by subscribing and liking. Your engagement allows us to continue sharing important and impactful stories. Remember, a sentence in one of these prisons means a lifelong confinement, and that's why these are considered the most dangerous and feared prisons in the U.S. Stay informed and stay safe.